Welcome to Voices Beyond the Pages. I'm your host, Audrey Shanice, here to celebrate the incredible ethnic voices in the audiobook world. Every episode, we dive into powerful stories, real conversations, and the voices bringing pages to life. So, grab a drink, get comfy, and let's get into it. You're going to love it here. What's up, y'all? Welcome to Voices Beyond the Pages. I'm your host, Audrey Shanice. Today, we're diving into something I didn't think much about before I became a narrator: the art of storytelling, and what truly makes a narrator stand out. Because, let's be real, narration isn't just reading words off a page. It's about creating an experience that pulls listeners into the world of the book, making them feel the story exactly as the author envisioned. So, today, I want to break down what makes an audiobook unforgettable, the role our voices play in storytelling, how different points of view change our performance, and some of the lessons I've learned along the way as I've grown in this craft. So, grab a drink, get comfy, and let's get into it. You're going to love it here. What does it really mean to be a storyteller in audiobook narration? Because I promise you, it's more than just speaking clearly or having a nice voice. At its core, storytelling is about making people feel something. It's about connection. It's about bringing a world that doesn't exist to life, helping listeners escape into the story. I want to feel the tension, the angst, the longing in a romance novel. I want to hear the excitement in a fantasy book. And imagine if a suspense novel was read with no emotion. I want to feel the dread, the apprehension, the leeriness of the characters. It's so important for a narrator to use these skills to convey the emotions of the characters, or else the magic gets lost. I remember one of the first romance books I narrated, and I thought I was nailing it. But when I played it back, I realized I wasn't feeling the story. I was just reading it. That's when I learned the importance of pausing at the right moments, leaning into the emotion behind the words, leaving those necessary breaths in, and letting my voice reflect what the character was going through. Once I made that shift, the book felt more alive. And that's the power of storytelling and narration. Think about the last audiobook you really fell in love with. What made it stick with you? Was it the way the narrator delivered emotional depth? Or was it the energy that they brought to the dialogue? In my opinion, the best audiobook narrators don't just tell the story. They live it through their performances, bringing you along for the ride. I had to learn that narration is more than just words. It's about intent. Every pause, every breath, every inflection matters. A great audiobook performance isn't just about clarity, it's about immersion. Now, let's talk about the elements that set a narrator apart, because there's a difference between being a good narrator and one that makes you forget you're even listening to a book. First, there's consistency and authenticity. If your energy shifts between recording sessions or your character voices sound totally different in chapter 20 than they did in chapter 5, listeners will notice. Staying locked into the performance is key. One way I keep my voices consistent is a tip that I got from my mentor. Record samples of each character's voice before you start narrating, so you can always reference them later. It saves me so much time when I need to go back and make pickups when I've already started another book or I've been listening to another book or whatever variables there are. Make those character samples. It'll save your life. Then we have pacing and rhythm. One of the first things I had to learn was that just because I can read fast doesn't mean I should read fast. Every story has a natural rhythm, so take your time. The reader can always speed it up when they're listening to it, but the last thing you want is the reader to have to slow it down because they can't understand what you're saying. Romance flows differently than a thriller. Nonfiction demands clarity, and fantasy needs room to breathe. Then there's character work and dialogue. One of the most exciting and challenging parts of narration is making sure every character has their own unique voice and personality. Sometimes an author will give you hints. Maybe they base a character on a certain actor, or they'll leave you notes about the accents and mannerisms and their personality traits. But it's up to you, the narrator, to bring them to life. And that brings me to something a lot of people don't think about: point of view. The way a book is written directly affects how we narrate it. I'm going to break it down for you. First person POV. This feels personal, almost like the narrator is sitting down and telling you their story. The performance is more intimate, conversational, and emotion-driven. Narrators need to embody the character and bring their unique voice, personality, and emotions. Basically, you have to become the character. Third person POV. This can feel a little bit more distant. It gives the narrator room to lean into different perspectives without feeling like they're fully inside one character's head. It's kind of like a bird's eye view of the story. The narrator is the bridge between multiple characters, making sure to maintain a smooth and engaging storytelling flow. Then there's dual or multi-POV books. These books are the books that have so many characters and so many voices and so much dialogue. This POV is where things get really exciting. Some books shift perspectives between different characters, and this requires distinct tonal shifts while still being sure to maintain the cohesion in narration. When narrating dual POV romances, for example, it's important that the voice of the two main characters feel distinct, yet natural when played back to back. And then there's omniscient POV. Honestly, y'all, this one was new to me, so we're learning something new together today. So, unlike third person limited, omniscient narration allows the narrator to have full access to the thoughts and emotions of all the characters. This requires subtle shifts in tone to differentiate between the narrator's voice and the character's experiences. Switching between POVs takes practice, but it's an important part of delivering a powerful audiobook performance. The best narrators know how to adjust their approach based on the book's structure and storytelling style, but that only comes with practice and dedication. Remember, storytelling isn't just about reading, it's about understanding the story and making it real for listeners. I've learned so much since starting this journey, but if I had to sum it up in a few points, here's what I'd say. Your voice is an instrument. Learn how to play it. And the only way to do that is through practice. Next would be choose consistency over perfection because no one is perfect. The last thing would be the best narrators are the ones who take the time to connect with their work. Every book has taught me something about storytelling. I love that I'm still growing in this craft and learning to use my voice in new and exciting ways every day. I know some of you out there are thinking about getting into narration or have finally decided to take a leap of faith the way I did almost a year ago. I hope this gives you a little insight into what goes into making an audiobook truly stand out. Narration isn't just about reading, it's about understanding the story and making it feel real for your listeners. All right, y'all. That's a wrap for this episode of Voices Beyond the Pages. I hope y'all enjoyed this conversation on the art of storytelling and what makes a narrator truly stand out. Now, I want to hear from you. What makes a narrator stand out to you? Drop a comment, send me a message. Let's talk about it. Next week, we're keeping this conversation going with our very first roundtable discussion, featuring some incredible voices in the industry. We'll be continuing this conversation and diving into what it really takes to break into audiobook narration and ways to stand out in this field. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. If you loved this episode, do me a favor. Subscribe, leave a review, and share it with other book lovers and audiobook fans. Your support helps these voices reach even further. You can connect with me on TikTok and on IG for updates and behind-the-scenes moments. Until next time, this is Voices Beyond the Pages, where stories and voices meet. You're going to love it here.